Morning, grade 11. I hope you're all doing well. I miss you all and hope to see you very soon. I wanted to make this video for you in order to help you understand the conditionals lesson more. Definitely, you all know that if you have any questions, you may contact me anytime you wish. If you remember, the conditional is a sentence that is made of two clauses, the if clause and the main clause, or we call it the condition clause and the result clause. The condition clause is a dependent clause which has an incomplete meaning. The result clause is the main clause or independent clause which has a complete meaning. When we talk about conditional sentences, we talk about four types: type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3. If we go to the first type, type 1 or type 0, how do we form type 0? If you look at the following slide, you can see that a sentence in type 1 is made of if plus present simple in the if clause. In the main clause, the verb is also in the present simple. And type 0 is used usually for general truths or facts, something related to physics, to biology, and so on. If you look at the examples in the slide, you can see, for example, the first one: if you cool water at 0 degrees, it freezes. Cool is a verb in the present simple. Freezes is another verb in the present simple. If you water a cactus every day, it dies in a short time. Again, water present simple, dies present simple, and so on. You can continue reading the examples for further information. When we go to type 1, we call it real present. What do we mean by real present? It means the action is possible, probable, or likely to happen in the present or the future. In the if clause, we usually use a present tense. Any present tense may work, but most of the time we use present simple. In the main clause, most of the time we use future simple. It means will plus infinitive, but sometimes we can use may, must, can plus infinitive. We can sometimes use an imperative also. Like, for example, if you see John, tell him to call me. Tell is an imperative. If you study well, you may pass, for instance. You have other examples here. For example, if it's sunny, we will go to the park. Maybe it will be sunny, so that's possible. It's likely to happen. If you go to the second example, if you help me with the dishes, I will help you with your homework. Again, the if clause, you have help present simple. Will help is in the future in the main clause. Now, practically, this is the first type 1 we call it. You can, of course, again, continue reading the examples. When we go to type 2, or we call it the second type, we call it unreal present. What do we mean by unreal? It means it's an improbable condition. It means it is impossible to happen in the present or the near future, let's say. It's an imaginary situation. Okay, it's not a fact actually. How do we form it? In the if clause, we usually use past simple or past continuous, but again, most of the time we use past simple in the if clause. In the main clause, we use would or could or might plus infinitive. Most of the time we use would. If you look at the examples, if I knew his number, this is the if clause, the verb is knew in the past simple. I would phone him, this is the main clause, and the verb in this sentence is would plus infinitive. If you notice that this is an improbable situation in the present, it means I don't know his number, so I will not phone him. If I were you, I would visit London. It means I am not you, so I will not visit London. I want to make a note here. Please pay attention. When you have verb to be, in the if clause, you can use were with all the subject pronouns. You know that usually with he, she, it, and I, we say was. But in conditional type 2, there is this exception that you may use were with all the subject pronouns. Yani you say, for example, if he were a king, he would help the poor. If she were a queen, she would save the prisoners, let's say. Now we go to the third type. Type 3, we call it unreal past or impossible condition to happen in the past. It did not happen in the past. That's why we cannot change the situation that had happened in the past. How do we form it? It's if plus past perfect or past perfect continuous, but most of the time past perfect. How do we form past perfect? To remind you, it's had plus past participle. In the main clause, we remember we need three things: would or could or might plus have plus past participle. Again, would is more frequently used. If you look at the first example, we might have bought the last Harry Potter book in the shop if we had arrived earlier. Here we started with the main clause. In the main clause, you have might plus have plus past participle of verb by. The if clause begins with if we had arrived earlier. That's the if clause. The verb in the if clause is had arrived. Remember one thing here, just to refresh your mind. If you begin with the if clause in this sentence, like if you say, if we had arrived earlier, definitely you need a comma. We might have bought the last Harry Potter book. So remember, whenever you begin with the dependent clause, you need to insert a comma after the dependent clause. However, if you begin with the independent clause, you don't need a comma. So, well, this is practically everything related to the conditionals. I hope you understood it. There are lots of examples in this PowerPoint presentation. And remember, guys, you can always contact me for any information, for any more details. And you can do, please, the exercises in gold in order to practice. If you have any difficulty doing the exercises, I can also send you extra exercises in an independent worksheet. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. I love you guys. See you soon.